Welcome to our webinar, Ask Freddy and Suzanne Anything, How to Lift Your Boobs and Spirits. Today we have two wonderful hosts joining us today, Freddy Zappe of Evedon and Suzanne Pentland from Wacol, Europe. Before we start, we always like to share a little bit about our two hosts. So most of you know Freddy from the Curve shows, but just to give you a little background on her, she is the National Fit Director for Evedon USA, who teaches all things about fit. She's been in the industry for over 20 years and has been instrumental in helping women fall in love with themselves, sometimes for the first time, sometimes once again. She's very passionate about the importance of fit and truly believes by finding a bra that you love in your perfect size, it can change your life. Freddy shared, when women are supported and feel beautiful and confident about our bodies, we can do big things. Joining her is Suzanne Pentland from Wacol, Europe. Suzanne is also a fit specialist, but in the UK, and has been in the industry for 12 years. At the onset of her career, she was a complete newbie to lingerie and found learning about bras incredibly interesting. She told me, as women, we are so busy and really don't have time to worry about our bras being uncomfortable throughout the day. And that's where a fitter comes in. We are the personal shoppers of lingerie. With our knowledge of fit and product, we can find the right size and style for every woman's shape and body. So, welcome, ladies. So excited to have you today. So Freddy's here in the US and Suzanne is in England. So we are so excited to have you both and get a global perspective on fit. And I'm hoping that you're going to teach us newbies and also us industry people how to really learn how to fit. I mean, our bodies are always changing all the time. And that's why we thought this webinar is so important, because even though some of us have been in the industry for a long time and consider ourselves experts, there's always new things to learn, tips to share. So let's jump right into it. So we have a lot of questions we compiled from our previous attendees of the Curve show. So we kind of compiled them into our top picks, but we also wanted you to stay on at the end of this webinar, and Freddy and Suzanne will be here to be able to answer questions you may have in our chat. So my first question I want to know is, why do I have back fat and underarm fluffies, and what can I do about that?
Okay, I'll take that.
You'll take that?
This is what we hear. Actually, it's one of the first things we hear in the fitting room. What about all of this? What about, and this is where the women look, right? Is they're hardly looking at their fronts. They're busy looking at their backs. And I don't know what it's like in the UK, Suzanne, but here, but there's a whole like back fat culture, right? Where women are obsessed with back fat. And honestly, it has nothing to do with your size. We are human. And part of being human is we're skin and bone and fat and juicy and all of that stuff. We're human. And so the fluffies or the back fat, oh my goodness, there is no shame in it. I am not, you can tell, I'm not really a curvy girl. I've got fluffies. And if I sat and obsessed about this, I would be a very depressed girl and I wouldn't have time for much else, right? I mean, I can show you lots and lots of fluffies here. But okay, that's a given. We don't want to sound like this. We don't sound like this. We are human. So we are going to have, we're going to have fluffies. That's all there is to it. And plus, there is a certain softness in women and men as well, right? And in human beings. And that's a good thing. We should celebrate that. So I just wanted to get that off my chest because I feel so passionate about that. And really, one of the first things that I was told when I first started was, by definition, a bra is a support garment. And therefore, it actually has to touch your body. And so women ask me all the time, well, I take my bra off and I have red marks. Or I have a line where my band was, or even here on my strap. And honestly, that's not a terrible thing. It means that the band has been touching your body. That's fine. We don't want red weeping welts. Of course we don't. But a little mark, it's just what happens. Remember, we're human. If you wear jeans and you take them off at the end of the day, you're going to have a mark where the waistband was. If you wear socks, you're going to have a little red mark. This is no different at all. So in order to support the breast tissue, this band has got to really give your torso a snug hug so that it can support all of this lovely breast tissue. There are, however, a few things just in terms of style that you can do to mitigate it a little bit. And that is that you want to look for, this is why she's turned around like this, because I knew you were going to ask me this question. So we're all set up. Anyway, you want to look for a nice wide band. So this is going to kind of support and cover and all of that good stuff. We also want to be aware that that band has even pressure throughout, because there are some bands around there, not this happens to be a Lomi, where there's an elastic here and an elastic here, and that presses into your skin. And this is the fabrication of the band is a little bit less supportive, less firm than this, and you tend to get railroad tracks. So that's not attractive. This is smooth throughout, and we do that because this is a nice and thick here and nice and thick here. It's just one flat line. And the other thing is these nice high apexes. You can see how it rises up like that. So that takes care of all of these side bits. And then the last thing, so I just want to show you, like in our Goddess product, look at how nice and wide these bands are. So that's going to take care of a lot. Yeah. And then even in our Fantasy product, you can see here on our Illusion bra, look at that nice high apex in the back. Right? So in all of the brands, we've got something to take care of this, just to mitigate it a little bit. And then there's something else that I want you to be aware of. And that is that what we do automatically when we think something is too snug, or I have all this back fat, is, oh, I need to go up in the band. But what happens then is the band becomes too loose and it rides up. We want the band to be nice and snug, nice and firm around the torso, you know, parallel to the floor. She's slipping up a bit because she's not human. So when the band gets wide, it rides up. As it rides up, it takes with it some fluffies here, and you end up with 2 Christmas balls here, right?
That's where that happens.
So in a way, it's counterintuitive. It's not necessarily that you need a looser band. You just need, sometimes, funnily enough, you need a firmer band to keep it down parallel to the floor. Because the band, if it's placed properly, is at the narrowest part of your torso. And so, which is here. And then you can see that we all, doesn't matter what size you are, we go out a little bit here. So that is a nice kind of area for this to sit, and it won't move up and force all of the fluffies up into your underarms. So little bit counterintuitive, but something to be aware of. The other thing also is when this rides up, we all have fluffies here. Again, doesn't matter what size you are. Even I've got fluffies there. And when this rides up, this kind of, it's, you know, we all have a fold here of some ilk, right? And if it rides up, this fold pops out as well. So when you bring this down, it kind of takes in of any fold that you might have here. So just bear that in mind.
I love that. Wow. All right. Yeah. I'm learning so much already.
Exactly. Just to say, Freddie, exactly the same over here in the UK. You know, ladies think by wearing a bigger bra, they look slimmer because you get rid of the sort of fluffies and the sort of what they see as like the little folds and things and the little bulges and bumps. And actually it's the complete opposite. Like Freddie said, you actually need to go smaller and you're looking neater rather than going bigger. If you go bigger bra, you look bigger straight away, you know. So yeah, that we find exactly the same thing as Freddie does there.
All right. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It sounds counterintuitive because I would think, oh, I just take a bigger size, so then things aren't sucking me in as much. But that totally makes sense.
Yeah, it's where the band is placed, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's oh my God, I have all of this back fat. I've got to go up in the band.
Right.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally is.
Okay. So moving on. So our second question is, why doesn't my center gore tack or not sit flat? Can you help us out with that?
Yeah, I'm going to take that one. So yeah, we in the UK we refer to that as the centre front. Freddie, I know in the US you say centre gore. So yeah, my glamorous assistant is going to turn the lovely babe around so we can have a look at the centre front. So the centre front is where the wires meet in between the breasts, the boobs there, between the cups. Often we see ladies, and we do see it all the time in the fitting rooms, where just that wire is just like sitting away from the body. So there you can see it sitting nice and flat on that torso. We see ladies with the wires actually standing away from the breast tissue. So they're either standing away or the wire's actually sitting on breast as well. So that's what we mean when we say the centre front, centre gore is not sitting flat. So that centre wire is meant to separate the breast and also have all the breast tissue within the wire as well. Now, if it's sitting away from the body, that's breast escaping. Basically, that's your boobs escaping from the cups. So we really want that wire to sit nice and flat. Now, the two main reasons for it not doing that, number one is going back to the band. So Freddie obviously touched on the fact that we need this nice firm band, and we really do. If we don't get that nice firm band, that wire's just going to pop away from the body. So we must make sure that wire sits nice and flat, and we must have that band firm enough to hold it in place. So you should always check that your wire's firm enough, that the band is firm enough to keep the wire in place. We say you should be able to put 2 fingers underneath the centre front, and that should be it. 2 fingers should sit nice, and that's as much space as you have there. If you can pull, quite, further away than that, then it really is too big on the band. So we need to size down on the band. So that's number one reason why that centre gore wouldn't be sitting flat. The second thing is the cup actually might be too small. So we always look at where the wire's stopping under the arm here. So yeah, so Freddie turns it round. Now that wire should always sit nice and flat behind breast tissue. So when you touch on there, you should be able to feel rib cage. If you can, great. But if you're feeling softness behind that wire, you'll feel it breast tissue. So that's not going to be comfortable. And again, it's going to squash the boobs and push that wire away. So it's either going to be one of 2 things. Either your band's too big and we need to band down, or your cup's too small. And like I say, it's squashing the boobs, and the boobs are trying to escape from that wire. And the other thing is, some ladies have got what we call a really natural, great cleavage. So they've already got when we get these bras that try and squeeze these boobs together, get that really sexy look. Some ladies are actually born with that. How lucky are they?
Really?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
The best boobs ever. Now, they tend to find wires can sit a little bit short, so they're either sitting in a place where they find it uncomfortable or just can't get to sit right. Now for them ladies, we advise to either go for a plunge bra, so the wire's just nice and short, so it just tacks on the front, or to go for a full cup bra. So they want to plunge. Have you got a Matilda or a Charlie there?
Ooh, yes, I just happen to have one here.
So that's our Matilda bra. So it's a nice little short wire. It's a plunge. So it's going to give a great shape, but it's not going to sit away. So like I said, them ladies have got this natural, full, fantastic cleavage. They're either going to want a plunge bra. So I would go for something like that because I'm quite close-knit. or you would go for a full cup that again would separate and come a bit higher. Now I'm a bit short from here to here, so I couldn't wear a full cup. But if a lady's a little bit taller, then she can wear a full cup. That's great. Someone like Kate. Have you got the Kate bra there, Freddie?
I have.
No?
You know what I have Kayla.
Oh yeah, Kayla and Goddess is fine. Yeah, so that's the same. It's a full cut bra and it's just a higher wire. So anybody that's got natural full cleavage already, either need to go plunge or they need to go full. Anything in between's not going to get in there and sit properly. So it's either or for that lady as well. I think that's it. I know you mentioned minimizers, Freddie, which we don't really get asked for in the UK, but I know they're bigger in the US. And that's something else, isn't it? Minimizers can be a bit of a tricky fit as well to separate.
Yeah. Well, minimizers, you know, a lot of women like their minimizers here because they're listening to the word minimizer, and a minimizer doesn't necessarily make you look smaller. A minimizer will take the front off so you don't have as much projection. But breast tissue's got to go somewhere, doesn't it? And
yeah.
become wider. And in a minimizer, the way to do that is we have nice deep cuffs, and we'll get into that a little bit later, right? So this curve is nice and deep. In a minimizer, this curve is not deep, it's flat. So then you really don't have that nice curve in here. And sometimes because of that, you don't have the depth of cup. A minimizer center gore or center piece will not get all the way into the rib cage.
Yeah.
So, right, and no matter how, usually what you do is if it's not tacking, if it's not coming into the rib cage, you go up in the cup. In a minimizer, in a lot of them, if you go up in the cup, it does nothing but widen that wire smile.
Right.
So you end up, right, having the underwire, it's almost all the way in the back now, right? But you're still not tacking here. So sometimes if you have very full breasts and things are not tacking and you're in the correct size, the underwire is where it should be, everything is good, and you're wondering what on earth is going on here, it's you just need a deeper cup. It needs to get in.
Okay.
I think that's what we were talking about in terms of minimizers. We tend to
yeah.
We're too passionate about this. It's taking too long.
It's taking too long. No, this is so good. I mean, we're here to get an education, and you know, you certainly know your stuff. I give you that. So moving on, we have a couple more questions. So short-waisted, high-breasted, low-breasted. Like, tell me, I don't understand. What do these terms mean, and how does this really affect the fit?
This is one of my favorite things to talk about. So I'm going to try and keep it short because I am so passionate about this. And once you understand this concept of where the breasts are situated on your torso, if you're a fitter, it will completely change the way you fit. It will completely change the way you look at women's bodies. You know, very often fitters, and this was me before this revelation happened, you know, you're fitting the boobs. So you're just looking at this. And honestly, it's, you know, it's a holistic thing to do. You want to take the entire body into consideration when you're fitting her breasts. Not only that, you want to take this into consideration, right? It's a question I ask a lot.
Yeah.
It's what are we really fitting? And if you really, really think about it and you go a little bit deeper, a little bit more on a profound level, this is what we're really fitting, right? We're fitting what's
Like the psychology.
Yeah. Yes, because women, not only women, people, right? We all come with a lot of baggage, and that may have something to do with what people called you when you were young. You know, I've had all sorts of body issues just because of what people said to me when I was a kid. So we all grow up with that, and we come with that baggage, and we look through that lens, and that really messes with our heads, right? So fitting someone it's a holistic thing, right? Body, mind, spirit. It really, really is, which is why it's so endlessly interesting. But back to the subject at hand. So you may have heard high-breasted, or you may have heard short upper torso. That's the same thing. You may also have heard, oh, she's short-waisted. And a lot of people confuse one with the other, but they're two very different things. So I'll briefly go into what high-breasted means. And that is, it is in fact where your breasts, your breast tissue is attached to your torso. And that is where the root of your bust is attached. So on this lady, you can see this is the root of her bust. It's where that crease is. This is where she is attached. And she is kind of average, actually. I'm very European in how my body is. And so you can tell I'm average to a little bit low. This is as high as I can get my breasts because I'm attached right there. Suzanne, it sounds like you are a little bit more high-breasted because, right?
I am, yeah.
So on me, this area here, the bottom of your breast to your shoulder is longer. And on someone like Suzanne, who is higher-breasted, she is placed higher on her.
As you can see, I'm slightly higher there. Yeah.
Yes.
That totally makes sense. Okay.
Right? This changes. Oh my God, it's so exciting. So when you're placed higher, you don't have a lot of room between the bottom of your breast and your shoulder, which means that explains a lot when someone might put you into a very full coverage bra and you feel like, oh my God, get me out of this. It's like a turtleneck. I can't stand it. I can't breathe, right? It's because on you, what on me would be just a fuller cut bra because I've got a lot of room because I'm placed lower. On this person, she's placed higher. So everything is placed higher. And this center gore is going to be like up to here on her, right? So people who are high-breasted are really, really lucky because when those breasts are lifted up to where they belong, and your breasts should be lifted up to where you can't go any farther. This is as far as mine go, right? When they're lifted up to where the underside of the breast is, their breasts are going to sit much higher. So don't get that confused though with ladies who have relaxed breast tissue and might be hanging over this fold, right? I mean, there is at work and breasts are heavy and very often, you know, she could be down to here, her breast tissue could be down to here, but her roots are still here, right? So a lot of women say, well, I'm down to here. What do you mean I'm high-breasted? That's ridiculous. Look at where I'm sitting, right? It's in my belt, more or less, right? And then I have them pick up their breasts to the roots and lo and behold, oh my goodness, they're so high. So a good bra is going to pick that up and you are going to be sitting so beautifully high and voluptuous and rounded. And it's just a beautiful thing. It is a total life changer. So that's when you're high-breasted. It's where your roots are sitting on your torso. It's not where your breast tissue is landing, right? You might be very lucky and it sits up by itself, but usually that's not the case. So short-waisted is almost the opposite of that, right? Because people used to talk about, oh, you know, I don't know why I must be short-waisted. This has nothing to do with your waist. This short-waisted is the area between the bottom of your breasts and your hip, where your hip bones are. And short-waisted means that you don't have a lot of room between here and your hips. That's a whole other ball game. So for something like that, for the high-breasted girl, you're going to look for something plungy. You're going to look for something like Matilda or Charlie or in, any of the Freya plunges. For short-waisted, you actually want to look for something bandless. So I have all my equipment here just in case. Just in case someone walks in and wants to be fitted. So bandless means there is no band on the bottom here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right,
And this is
so
for a short-waisted person.
Yes, for a short-waisted person. This happens to be Lydia. Lydia doesn't have a band on the underside. It's just a wire, and you don't have this little lip going on.
Okay.
This can actually, not that this is a big one, but that can curl up and then sit and dig in your breast crease. So if you have something, just an underwire like that with nothing on the bottom, it's just going to sit there nice and comfortable, and it's not going to take up space there. Is that
Yeah.
at all?
That makes total sense. Wow.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, really good.
It totally changes how, if you have that in your mind, it's going to change. It's just going to change everything. It changed everything for me. It's going to change how you fit. And, you're going to cut to the chase much quicker if you can recognize, oh, she's high-breasted, so I'm not going to bring in a big old bra. And people who are high-breasted, by the way, also, you want to be careful at the underarm, right? Because not a lot of room. And so if you have something that's up into here, then you're going to have to do what we used to have to do, which is go down in the cup to get it out of this, and then she's in a cup too small. So literally a bra like Matilda, right? It changes.
Can you show that a little closer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Matilda hearts.
Yeah, that's so pretty.
I know, isn't it gorgeous? Yeah. Well, Valentine's Day was yesterday, but
I know, but still. Well, we have Valentine's Day all the time. It's Galentine's now.
It can be Valentine's.
We don't need a guy to have us wear a pretty bra.
Absolutely not.
With hearts on it.
So what we've done here is there's a little bit of, we cut out a little bit more under the arm so that she can stay in her correct size. She's going to be a full girl, yes, but we can keep her in her correct size because it's cut out a little bit under the arm. So that whole premise of high-breasted has actually changed how we design our product. It's
fascinating, really. So while we're on this subject about finding the perfect fit, can you give us some tips on, if someone's augmented or like post-surgery breasts, like how to help them?
Suzanne.
Yeah, Kirsten, Mal, can you take this one, Freddie? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's sort of two reasons that we sort of put it into two categories. So you've got cosmetic augmentation, and then you've got medical augmentation surgeries. So what we do is we say the first one, well, first of all, if you've had any sort of surgery, post-surgery, it's always a soft, non-wired, firm support bra that you should be looking for, because the scar and tissue, we want the breast to settle. So it's always avoid wires, and that's for about 3 to 6 months post-surgery. So we've got, we advise a sports bra. So we've got our Freya Dynamic, which is a non-wired, really firm support, a lot of coverage, nice deep band. So there's any scar tissue around the bands. We've got Kate in a Lomi non-wired. So any of those sort of styles are amazing. And that's where you need to go to, assume, it doesn't matter how, what the reason is for the augmentation. That should always be your first, that should be in your hospital bag, basically. So as soon as you've had the surgery, you pop your firm support non-wired bra on, and then we say 3 to 6 months for that scar tissue to heal. Obviously, you'll be going for your checkups, and you'll know when that scar tissue is all healed as well. So once it's all healed, we're desperate to get into our amazing lingerie again, because we've been wearing this really big, not so pretty bra. So we're desperate to get into that fabulous lingerie again. So the lady who's had it for cosmetics reasons, she's normally pretty full. She's gone for that look. So what we recommend is going for something like our Deco, our Freya Deco, or our Cameo, because they give, they really enhance that fullness. They give a real good, nice plunge, and they look great on that lady. She's gone for this fullness, so she can wear probably any of our bras for that any look that she wants to go for. So that's great. And then the other side, we've got the lady who's maybe, I myself have had breast cancer and I've had a mastectomy and a reconstruction. And the first thing I wanted to do was get back into my normal bras. And I'd heard, working in the industry for a long time, a lot of ladies who've had reconstructions had been told, you can't wear wires, you can't wear wires. Oh, I can't wear wires. And I was like, why can't you wear wires? So I spoke to a lady from Breast Cancer Care and got some advice on this, and she was like, no, you can wear wires as long as it's comfortable. Then yeah, go for it. We don't want to limit that lady to that little section in the store that's post-surgery bras. She's gone through that. She wants something really pretty now. So the first real, message is you can wear wires. Once everything's healed and you're feeling great again, get out there and you can choose from abundance of bras rather than being limited. But you do want to look for certain things. So again, we don't want these rail rack, train track backs because they're just too narrow. Did I say train track? We say like rail tracks. So yeah, train tracks backs were really narrow because the reconstruction I had, I've got quite a big scar tissue. They use like the muscle from my back and it rebuilt my boob. So I've got scar tissue coming around from the back all the way around the side. So I need something nice and deep. And like Freddie said earlier, luckily all our brands offer a really nice deep wing band. So that's going to have no problems there. That's not going to cut into any scar tissue. So that's great. So again, avoid anything that's too narrow on the band because that just wouldn't work. Again, you want something that's quite soft and comfortable as well. You don't want something that's really uncomfortable. So if you have a prosthesis that needs to go into the wire, we say to look for something that's a more of a flexible cup bit. So our spacer bras are really, really good for that. We have our Fantasy Rebecca or Aubrey spacers, which are great. So you can see they're a little bit fuller in the cup. They're molded, so they're going to enhance that great shape. You can put a prosthesis in there. They've got the great deep wings. So they're amazing. Again, like I said, you don't need to go post-surgery. You can actually wear the brand that you wore before you had all this surgery going on. You can go back to your favorite brand again. And then in Malome, we've got the Charlie spacer as well, which again is amazing. So anything with spacers got a little bit of flexibility in the cup. So if you did have a slight size difference after the surgery, it's going to even that out. You're not going to be able to tell that there's a slight size difference. Or if you've got a prosthesis in there, it's going to keep that nice in place as well because it's a little bit fuller on the cup as well. But the main message is please don't limit yourself to post-surgery bras. Come back to your brands, go back to your stores and see what beautiful lingerie you can wear.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. So continuing on, we want to know why swoop and scoop? Like, what is that? And tell us your...
One of my favorite things. Swooping and scooping. Again, change.
I thought it was ice cream when you read that, when I heard that. I don't mean to interrupt you. I honestly did. I'm like, wow, it's like Ben and Jerry's, but for bras.
I like that as well, actually. But swooping and scooping is actually adjusting your breast tissue. But it's much nicer to have a picture of what it means. And you honestly will not know whether you are in the proper size or not until you have adjusted your breast tissue into the cups. It's just that simple. So we know that most what we see in the fitting room, you and I spoke about this, Suzanne, usually we see the scenario is that women are wearing their bands too big and their cups too small, right? That's a given. That's usually what we see. And so imagine now if your band is too big, the breast tissue actually migrates back, right? And Suzanne said it in a brilliant way. I've never said it this way before, but I love it. And it's we're accustomed to wearing our boobs in the band. And we don't want the boobs in the band, we want the boobs in the cup. And so what we want to do is reach into our cups and bring that breast tissue forward into not into the band. We want to reach all the way back. There's a little thing here that we have to get rid of. Okay, so what you want to do is actually hold the wire, same hand, same side. Then you're going to take your opposite hand and reach into the bra, and you're almost going to meet your opposite, your hand right here. So your fingers meet, and this you're going to pull back your underwire, and you're going to move your breast tissue forward. So it's a little bit of this kind of motion. You want to make sure that every scrap of breast tissue, which has migrated to the back, right? Because presumably you're wearing your band too big, you're going to bring that forward into the cup and where it belongs. And what that's going to do is make sure that that underwire is sitting behind the breast tissue. You're going to find that you might go down in the band now because that boob is now in the cup where it belongs. And you may have to go up a cup or two, sometimes even 3 cups.
You're kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And on someone like myself, I love that. I mean, I did it in self-defense because I wore my bras way long, right? I'm really like a 32C or a 30D, and I was wearing 34B, because wasn't everybody a 34B at one time?
Right. That's true. Yeah.
No clue, right? And so this underwire was always sitting on my breast tissue, and I was just adjusting the whole day. And so by just in self-defense, I started to just bring that breast tissue forward. And then I thought, look at all these boobs I have now. This is fabulous. Oh, wow, right? Because it brings it forward where you belong. And anyway, long story short, came to this company and figured out that I was in way the wrong size. But it is dramatic what it can do when that breast tissue is in the cup. So don't get frightened if it pops out here, right? Because that's a good thing. We can fix that. You might end up going down in the band and up in the cup, and you are going to look taller, longer, leaner, and so much more comfortable because you've adjusted the wire behind every scrap of breast tissue. So when you reach back, that underwire is literally going to be sitting on bone. And then the last thing you can do is if you feel that, ooh, my goodness, this is a lot of boob here, cup, and then you do a little windscreen wiper, just put it right back there on the cups, and you are going to be sitting pretty and loving yourself. You're not going to believe what happens. Life changing.
Yeah, Freddie,
Wow.
we were talking about this the other day. I was saying I do this every day. We'll sit in the mornings. I put my bra on, and the first thing I do is hand in, pull it over, hand in, pull it over, and I just do it because I know I need to do it. And but I do it without even thinking. But it's I know for a fact as soon as I put my bra on, it's hand in, boob across, hand in, boob across. But yeah, it's so many women when you do that as well. Freddie and I all know. We'll take a bra in for a lady and they'll go, oh no, look, it doesn't fit. Look at all this space. I'll go, hang on, let's get your boobs in. And then they reach over, pull the boobs. We sort of adjust the strap and they went, how did you do that? Where did that come from? Where did this boob come from? But yeah, it is. It's a really it's a tool that we use all the time in the fitting room, and it really does make a huge difference. It really does.
Wow. All right. I'm learning so much. So when we're brushing our teeth, we need to be readjusting.
Yeah, we just
it's not a big thing. It's actually quite a small movement.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But it changes everything, and it's 1, 2, 3. You don't have to spend 10 minutes adjusting your boobs. It's boom, boom,
Right.
And you're ready to rock and roll.
Okay. I love that. All right.
Wait till you try it.
So now we all are just dying to go out again. We know that. Right? We're waiting. I know every day I'm like, please. We want to go to restaurants. We want to go to events, which means we're going to hopefully be wearing strapless bras again soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But can you help us? Like, how do we make them work? Like for me, I'm small and they're always falling down, or like the sticky stuff doesn't feel good, or I have no cleavage the way I want it to look. Like, can you help us out?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure Freddie's gonna, we've talked about this, and it's such a common thing again, and it's, ladies will, I can get a bra, but I can't wear a strapless bra. There's not a strapless bra out there that works, and I'm like, really? But again, it's going back to that really important thing. I think we've said it, in most of our sort of responses here. We've said the band. It all goes back to getting that band right. So a lot of ladies are wearing these straps to hold their boobs up. They're using the straps, they're putting all the weight on the shoulders, all the weight on the neck. And that's not where the weight of the boob should be. The weight of the boob should be around this bit here, around this underband. This holds the boobs up. So if you're using the straps and then suddenly you want to strap this bra and you've got no straps, it's just going to fall or it's going to pop. So it's really important that we get that band again nice and firm, because that takes 80%, at least 80% of the weight of these boobs. So if you're not taking that weight here, you're not going to get that strapless bra to stay up. So it's really important to get that band nice and firm again. Again, we should just have 2 fingers that we can get underneath that band, and that's it. That's as much space as we should have there. Now, if you've got that band nice and snug and you still find that it's popping, we're going back to that centre core question again. The cups maybe is a little bit too small. So make sure the band's nice and firm, so it's going to stay in place. It's going to hold the boobs up. We don't need straps to hold them up. We can do that all with the band and with the cups themselves. And really, that's it. That's it. That's the magic done. There is a strapless bra out there for us. And we have one in Lalomi. We've got some great smoothing bra, which should be great into the summer. When we get out. We've got a great one that's really smooth, a molded cup, so it gives great shape, nice and deep band, so it's going to, really anchor to the torso as well. So yeah, we could definitely get a strapless bra to work, 100%.
Okay.
We're ready to get out.
We're ready. So Freddie, you held up a style. Do you mind just telling us what style that is real quick, of the strapless one that you...
This is, it's the Alomi smoothing strapless, and the style number, because I just know things by name. I don't know the style number of it, but I will certainly follow up with the style number. This was many, honestly, it was in the kitchen a long time. Liesel's our incredible designer. Did some amazing things. It's got stays in the back, because remember, this is for the curvier girl, right? So you need a lot of support, and this really gives it to you. It's, the fit of a bra is really the relationship of cup to band, and so the cups also need to be full enough to encompass all of that breast tissue. So all the things that apply to just a regular bra with straps applies even more so in a strapless bra, because the more, this really, if this doesn't tack, that's where things go south, if you will, right? So, right.
So that's why mine's falling down.
Yes. And I had the same problem as well, because I was just...
Me too. I was the same.
Right.
Yeah, and mine stood away, and I was like, well, it's too big because it's standing away. Little did I know, actually, that meant it was too small in the cup. So I thought again, because it was standing away, and I always had this, like, I could get a mobile phone in there. I was like, well, it's standing away, so it can't be too big. I've got a gap. Little did I know, I was squashing the wire up, pushing, whereas if I went bigger on the cup, on the wire, it actually hugged in. It hugged in, So yeah, it's a real science, but once you know it, you've got it. It really does work. That's the great thing. It does work.
Okay. So no more wardrobe malfunctions for us.
Oh
no, we're definitely all ready to go. We've got all the underwear ready. Yeah, we're ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been such an education for me, and hopefully our Curve viewers as well. So thank you so much. Is there any last takeaways that we should know?
Oh,
no.
Oh, I wish I had some really sage words of wisdom.
Yeah.
But okay, I know what I want to say.
Oh.
And when you're fitting, there is, you know, we always talk about, you know, we don't want to really crack that bra Nazi whip that, no, you have to be in this size, you have to do, you know, you have to do it this way, and that's the right way. You know, we all do things slightly differently. We, you know, all roads lead to Rome. We all agree on the end result, right? We want that woman to feel beautiful and gorgeous, be in a bra that fits her and feel like $1,000,000. But I feel you have to also fit with empathy. And that is put yourself into that and into her shoes, the person that you're working with. It's not about you, and it's not about your being right. It's about giving her what she needs and what she wants. And sometimes it means being more flexible than maybe you want to be sometimes.
I love that. Open-minded is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, you know, we are there to advise the ladies, and if they think actually it's a little bit too tight, we can give them the sister size. We can, you know, we're open to compromise. Basically, we're definitely open to compromise. You know, like Freddie said, we don't crack the whip. I certainly am not going to, you know, get somebody into some side because I think it's right. If they're telling me actually I don't feel comfortable, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to get them so that they're happy with. That's, you know, the main outcome of all our fittings is to get the woman happy with the fit. That you know, she's got to love the fit, and if she doesn't, then we haven't done our job properly.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, both of you. It was so great to get this amazing conversation and all these helpful tips. As I said, if you want to ask questions in the chat and even post-webinar, you want to reach out to Freddie and Suzanne, I'm happy to make connections or introductions to anybody that needs it. And we can also share with you a listing of some of the bras that were highlighted in this webinar today. So again, thank you so much. It was so great to meet you and have this really important conversation.